Welcome to the Bark Brigade Kitchen Podcast by Dogazilla Magazine with the Dog Chef Cookbook to prepare a really healthy and fresh recipe for your dog's meal.
It is absolute chaos and joy in here today. I have my apron tied tight, my hands are scrubbed pink, and I am looking at a counter full of, well, just incredible ingredients.
It really is a different vibe for us. I mean, usually we're behind a desk, right? We're maybe dissecting a white paper or looking at industry trends on a screen. But today we are physically in the kitchen.
I can smell the sweet potatoes already.
It's February 12th, 2026, and we are stepping away from the theory and, getting right into the practice.
And honestly, this is where the rubber meets the road. I mean,
Yeah.
You can read about nutrition all day, but until you actually pick up the knife and look at the food that's going into the bowl, It's all just abstract.
Exactly. And we aren't just improvising a meal here. We are doing a very specific, very deep dive into a recipe that was released just 10 days ago, February 2nd, 2026, in Dogazilla Magazine. It's a recipe by the Dog Chef.
And we should probably clarify for anyone who might be new to the Dogazilla ecosystem, this isn't just some random blog post we found on page 10 of the search result.
No, not at all. Far from it.
Dogazilla has some really serious credentials. They were shortlisted and then awarded Best Online Dog Magazine 2025.
Right.
And that implies a level of rigor. Their content, including this whole cookbook series, it's reviewed by veterinarians and certified trainers.
So it's vetted.
Completely vetted. So when we see a recipe listed there, we know it isn't just about what looks cute on Instagram. It's about metabolic health. It's about what's actually good for the dog.
That is the perfect transition to our mission today. We are taking control of pet food safety by going homemade. We are making the Golden Years stew.
Golden Years stew.
And just hearing that title, Golden Years, it evokes a certain image, doesn't it?
It really does. It immediately tells us who we're cooking for. We are not cooking for the 6-month-old puppy who needs massive amounts of calcium for bone growth and, just endless calories for zooming around the yard.
We're cooking for the distinguished gentleman or lady on the couch.
Precisely. The one who gives you the wise old look from their favorite dog bed. We're cooking for the senior dog.
And the source material is very, very explicit about why this recipe exists. It notes that senior dogs require easily digestible nutrients, and this is the part I want to focus on, fewer calories.
That's the headline right there.
I want to push back on that fewer calories point for a second, though, because I think a lot of us, and I'll include myself in this, we look at our older dogs, and they're slowing down, maybe they're a bit stiffer, and we want to comfort them. We want to give them the rich food, the tasty treats. So why is fewer calories the big, bold headline for a senior diet?
It's a great question, and it comes from a place of love, but it's a matter of matching the fuel to the engine. That's the best analogy I can think of.
Okay.
Think about a senior dog's physiology. As they age, their basal metabolic rate, that's the amount of energy they burn, just, existing, breathing, sleeping.
Keeping the lights on.
Exactly. That rate drops. At the same time, their activity levels drop pretty significantly. They might go for a nice, leisurely 20-minute walk instead of a 2-hour hike like they used to.
So the engine is idling a lot more than it's revving.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you keep pumping high-octane, high-calorie fuel into an engine that is mostly idling, that energy has to go somewhere.
Right, it doesn't just evaporate.
It doesn't just disappear. The body is incredibly efficient. It stores it as adipose tissue, as fat. And for a senior dog, obesity is this silent killer.
How so?
Well, think about it. Every extra pound puts immense pressure on what are probably already arthritic joints.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought of that.
It stresses the heart, which is also an aging muscle. You can even make respiratory issues worse because the fat restricts the movement of the diaphragm.
So by reducing the calories, we're not depriving them. We're actually protecting their quality of life or giving them more comfortable years.
We are. But here's the challenge, and this is why this recipe is so smart. You have to cut the calories without cutting the nutrients. You can't just feed them less of their old food, because then they'll be malnourished. They'll be calorie deficient and nutrient deficient. You need high nutrient density in a lower calorie package.
Which brings us to the little special diet tag on this recipe. The source specifically mentions this is for dogs with allergies and weight issues.
And that allergy component is just massive. I mean, if you have ever stood in a pet store aisle, just completely overwhelmed reading the back of a senior care kibble bag, you know the struggle.
It's like reading a chemistry textbook.
It is. The ingredient list is a mile long. You've got hydrolyzed soy proteins, corn gluten meal, BHA, BHT, preservatives you can't even pronounce.
It's a total black box. You have no idea what's really in there.
It is. And if your dog has an itchy skin condition or a sensitive stomach, which really just implies gut inflammation, feeding them a mystery mix from a bag is a massive gander.
You could be feeding them the very thing that's causing the problem.
Constantly. This stew we are about to make today, it is a limited ingredient diet. We will know every single molecule that is going into that pot.
That feels empowering. It feels like we are reclaiming the responsibility for their health, taking it back from the big corporations.
That is exactly what we are doing. We're becoming their personal chefs.
Okay, chef. I am looking at the counter. The knives are sharp. The bowls are out. It is time for the mise en place.
My favorite part. Everything in its place.
Yeah.
You cannot cook a good stew, or any meal really, if you are scrambling for ingredients halfway through.
So for all of you listening, imagine you're standing right here with us. We're going to go through the shopping list item by item, and I want you to explain not just what it is, but why it's here. Why did the dog chef choose this specific ingredient for a senior dog?
Let's break it down. I'd love to.
Okay, ingredient number 1, the foundation of the whole dish. We need 1 cup of cooked quinoa.
Quinoa. Now, this is a very, very deliberate choice over something like, say, white rice or corn.
Why is that? I mean, isn't white rice the classic bland diet grain that vets recommend?
It is. And white rice is fine in a pinch for, say, an acute digestive issue. But for a long-term diet, quinoa is just. It's nutritionally superior for this specific application.
How so?
Well, first, technically it's a seed, not a grain, though we cook it like a grain. And because of that, it is a complete protein.
Okay, what does that mean in dog terms?
It means it contains all 9 essential amino acids that a dog's body can't produce on its own. They have to get them from their food.
And that's pretty rare for a plant source, right?
Very rare, yes. That's why it's so popular in human vegetarian diets. But for me, the texture is the real winner here for a senior dog. The recipe calls for it to be cooked. When you cook quinoa properly, and that means rinsing it first to get the bitter saponin coating off.
Ah, that's an important tip.
Crucial tip. Don't skip the rinse. But once it's cooked, that little spiral germ pops out, and the seed becomes incredibly soft and fluffy.
So it absorbs all the liquid and the flavors from the stew.
It does. But it's also about digestion. For a senior dog, the whole digestive process is often slower. They don't have the same aggressive enzymatic breakdown they had when they were younger. Quinoa is highly digestible. It moves through the tract gently, providing a steady, slow-release energy without spiking their blood sugar the way a simple starch like white rice might.
And that instruction, cooked, implies we absolutely cannot serve this raw.
Oh, never. Absolutely not. Raw quinoa, like I said, has that saponin coating which can be irritating to the gut, and the seed itself is far too hard. It would just pass right through them undigested. It must be cooked until it's bloomed and soft.
Got it. Okay, ingredient number 2. The protein payload. We have 1 cup of chicken breast, and the source is very specific here. Cooked and shredded.
Okay, let's look at the anatomy of the choice here. We're using the breast, not the thigh, not the skin, not the organs.
And I'm guessing that's a fat control measure.
100%.
Yeah.
Chicken breast is the gold standard for lean protein. Remember our 2 main targets, weight issues and allergies. Animal fat is incredibly calorie dense. It's 9 calories per gram. Protein is only 4. So by stripping away the skin and the fattier dark meat, we are slashing the calorie count while maintaining the high-quality amino acids needed to prevent something called sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia? What's that?
It's age-related muscle wasting. Old dogs lose muscle mass just like old humans do. Their back legs get weaker. They need that high-quality protein to maintain their strength and mobility, but they do not need the grease that comes with it.
So you get the good stuff without the bad stuff.
Precisely.
And then there's the shredded instruction. And this feels like it's about more than just presentation. It feels like a texture thing.
It is, but it's also a digestion hack. It's brilliant. Think about surface area.
Okay.
If you give a dog a cube of chicken, their stomach acid has to work from the outside in to break it down. It takes time. If you take that same piece of chicken and shred it into thousands of tiny little fibers, you have increased the surface area exponentially.
So the digestive enzymes can get to work much faster from all angles.
Instantly. It's almost pre-digested for them. And let's be real about the state of most senior dogs' mouths.
Yeah.
Periodontal disease is rampant. Their gums might be sore. They might have loose teeth or even missing teeth. Shredded chicken requires almost no chewing. It's comforting. It's easy to eat. It's just gentle.
And cooking with empathy. I really like that. Okay, moving on. Ingredient number 3. We're adding some beautiful color to the pot now. 12 cup of sweet potatoes, and they need to be cubed and cooked.
A true nutritional powerhouse. You get that brilliant orange color, which is nature's way of telling you it is loaded with beta-carotene.
Which the body turns into vitamin A.
Exactly. And vitamin A is essential for vision and for immune health, two things that tend to decline with age in dogs. So we're proactively supporting their eyes and their ability to fight off illness.
But hold on, isn't a potato a starch? Are we not worried about the carbs, especially with the weight management goal?
That's a fair question. But in this quantity, a half cup, no. The benefits far outweigh the carbohydrate load. And the key here is the type of carbohydrate. It's complex, and it is incredibly rich in dietary fiber.
Ah, the fiber.
Yes. Senior dogs often struggle with gut motility. They get constipated more easily because, again, they aren't moving around as much to stimulate the bowels. The soluble and insoluble fiber in the sweet potato acts as a gentle, natural regulator. It keeps things moving smoothly.
So it's not just filler, it's functional. And
Yeah.
the cubed part, I assume that's for safety.
It's size management and safety, yes.
Yeah.
You want everything in the bowl to be a uniform, manageable size. You don't want a dog trying to navigate a huge, hard chunk of potato while they're slurping up that soft, shredded chicken. It prevents choking, and
Yeah.
it just makes the whole meal easier to eat.
It's about making the meal seamless. I get it. Okay, ingredient number 4, 12 cup of green beans, chopped.
The unsung hero of the canine diet. I'm not kidding. If you talk to any veterinarian about a dog that needs to drop a few pounds, I promise you the first words out of their mouth will be add some green beans.
Why is that? Is there some magic weight loss chemical in them?
The magic is actually in what isn't in them. They are incredibly low in calories, almost negligible. But physically, they are bulky. They're mostly water in structure.
So they just take up space in the stomach?
That's it. They trigger the stress receptors in the dog's stomach wall. When the stomach expands, it sends a signal to the brain saying, hey, I'm full. You can stop eating now.
So it's a satiety hack.
It's a brilliant satiety hack. By adding green beans, we are tricking the dog's brain into feeling satisfied without adding a significant caloric load. It's the definition of volume eating.
That is so smart. And again, chopped to avoid the choking hazard of a long, stringy bean.
Correct. Always chopped. You can even use frozen chopped green beans. Just make sure there's no added salt.
Good tip. Okay, finally, ingredient number 5. This feels like the garnish, but I have a feeling it's more than a garnish. 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
It is the designated fat source for the entire recipe.
Wait, but you just told me we want to avoid fat. We specifically use chicken breast to avoid fat.
Ah, but this is the nuance. We want to avoid excess saturated animal fat. But a dog cannot and should not live on a zero-fat diet. It is an essential macronutrient.
Why? What does it do?
They need lipids, or fats, to maintain the integrity of their cell membranes. It's crucial for keeping their skin barrier intact, which prevents dryness and itchiness. And, very importantly, they need it to absorb fat-soluble vitamins.
That would be vitamins A, D, E, and K, right?
That's exactly right. You could feed them all the beta-carotene-rich sweet potatoes in the world, but without a little bit of fat in the meal, their body can't absorb and convert that vitamin A effectively. The fat is the transport vehicle.
But the measurement here is so strict, it's not a drizzle. It's 1 tablespoon.
This is where the home cook has to be disciplined.
Yeah.
You know how on human cooking shows they just grab the bottle and do a big glug-glug of oil all over the pan?
To glug, I know it well.
You absolutely cannot do the glug-glug here. Olive oil is incredibly calorie-dense. A tablespoon is about 120 calories. If you accidentally pour 3 tablespoons instead of 1, you have just tripled the fat content and potentially negated the entire weight loss aspect of the stew.
So you have to get out the measuring spoons.
You must measure it. Precision matters here more than anywhere else in the recipe.
Okay, what a fantastic breakdown. We have our cooked quinoa, our cooked and shredded chicken breast, our cubed and cooked sweet potatoes, our chopped green beans, and our carefully measured olive oil. The mise en place is complete and ready.
And the colors look great together, don't they? You have the beige of the quinoa, the white of the chicken, that vibrant orange, the deep green. It looks like a healthy grain bowl you or I would pay $15 for.
It really does. But now we have to transform these beautiful separate ingredients into the final dish. We are moving to the cook.
Let's fire up the stove, or, well, turn on the burner.
So step 1 is really the prep work we've just discussed in detail. The recipe says, follow cooking instructions for quinoa and set aside, and cook chicken breast thoroughly.
And I want to put a huge emphasis on that word, thoroughly. We are not serving medium rare chicken to a dog.
Is the risk of something like salmonella the same for dogs as it is for humans? I feel like I always hear people say dogs have iron stomachs.
That is a very dangerous myth. Yes, their stomach acid is slightly more acidic than ours, which gives them some protection, but a senior dog with a potentially compromised or aging immune system is absolutely vulnerable to bacteria like salmonella and campylobacter.
So no pink.
No pink whatsoever. You cook that chicken until it is white and opaque all the way through. The internal temperature should hit 165 degrees Fahrenheit if you want to be certain.
And then you shred it. We talked about the biology of shredding, but let's talk about the actual sensory experience of it. You're there with two forks.
It's the two-fork pull. It's so satisfying.
You're pulling the meat apart, creating these long, delicate threads. And while you're doing that, you are actively inspecting the meat. You are feeling for any little bits of bone that might have been missed. You're removing any gristle or cartilage.
Is the final quality control check. You are the last line of defense before that food hits your dog's bowl. It's an intimate process.
So we have our bowls of prepped ingredients. Now, step 2, the combination, the instruction says. In a large pot, combine the quinoa, shredded chicken, sweet potatoes, and green beans.
So we are just gently dumping all those solids into one big vessel. A Dutch oven works great for this.
And then the liquid. This seems important. Add enough water to cover it.
This is a critical pivot point in the recipe. A second ago, we basically had a salad. Now we are officially making a stew.
So why water? Why not just serve it dry, like a kind of hash?
2 words, hydration and hydration. It is the silent struggle for so many senior dogs. As their kidney function naturally declines with age, which is very, very common, the body's ability to concentrate urine drops. They lose more water throughout the day. But at the same time, their thirst mechanism in the brain gets a little rusty. It doesn't fire as effectively.
So they don't always realize they're thirsty.
Exactly. So they can exist in this state of chronic, mild dehydration, which puts even more strain on their kidneys.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. By covering this food in water and creating a stew, we are essentially forcing hydration. We are sneaking a cup or two of water into their system, disguised as a delicious dinner. It helps flush the kidneys and keeps the entire urinary tract healthy.
Plus, I imagine that water now becomes a broth, acting as a carrier for all the flavors.
It does. It picks up all the goodness from the chicken and the vegetables, which brings us right to step 3.
Step 3, the simmer. The instruction is to simmer the mixture for about 15 minutes.
And the key word there is simmer. We are not boiling it to death. We are not doing a rolling boil. We're looking for gentle bubbles just breaking the surface.
What's happening chemically in that pot during those 15 minutes of simmering?
A few beautiful things are happening. The starches in the sweet potato and the quinoa are releasing slightly into the water, which creates a natural, gentle thickener. It creates what chefs call mouthfeel, a sort of light, gravy-like consistency without having to add any flour or fat.
And the flavors are melding.
The flavors are all exchanging. The chicken is flavoring the beans. The sweet potato is adding a little sweetness to the quinoa. Everything is getting to know each other.
And the smell. We have to talk about the smell.
Oh, the smell is the appetizer. For an older dog whose sense of smell might be fading, which is also very common, heating the food makes all those volatile aromatic compounds airborne.
So it fills the kitchen.
It fills the kitchen. It travels down the hall. It tells the dog something really good is coming.
Well,
It stimulates the appetite in a way that cold, dry kibble from a bag never, ever could.
so the timer goes off. 15 minutes have passed. The kitchen smells like a cozy Sunday afternoon. Now, step 4, the finish.
The final touch, the olive oil.
The recipe says, add the olive oil. But the timing here is absolutely key. We are adding it after the simmer is done, right?
Yes, this is crucial. You turn the heat off completely. You might even move the pot off the hot burner. Then you stir in that measured tablespoon of oil.
Why not cook the vegetables in the oil at the start like you would for a human stew?
It's all about heat degradation. A good quality extra virgin olive oil is full of wonderful things called polyphenols and antioxidants. That's the good stuff that helps reduce inflammation and protects the brain and joints.
Okay.
High heat can destroy those delicate compounds and can even cause the oil to oxidize, which creates harmful free radicals. By stirring it in at the end, off the heat, we are preserving the full medicinal quality of the oil.
And then the final, most important instruction, and if you hear nothing else today, listeners, please hear this. Let it cool before serving.
Please, this is completely non-negotiable. I can't stress this enough.
It's steaming hot. It's a
Yeah.
serious thermal hazard.
Dogs do not have the logic to wait. If it smells like chicken and sweet potato, they will dive in head first. They can severely bond their tongue, the roof of their mouth, and their esophagus. Esophageal burns are incredibly painful and very difficult to treat.
So how cool does it need to be? What's the test?
The test is simple. Use your own finger. Stick your finger right into the center of the stew in the pot. If you have to pull your finger away because it's too hot for you, it is dangerously hot for your dog.
It should be room temperature.
Room temperature is perfect,
Okay.
or barely lukewarm. If it feels pleasant and just slightly warm on your finger, it's safe to serve.
Safety first. Always. Okay, so we've made this incredible stew. It has cooled. The dog has happily eaten a portion. But unless you own a Great Dane, you probably have a lot of leftovers. This brings us to the storage and logistics part of the outline.
Which is where the dog chef really looks out for the humans, too. This is not a recipe you have to make every single day. This is a meal prep recipe.
The instructions say, store any remaining food in the refrigerator. And it gives us a clear shelf life, up to 5 days.
And 5 days is a very reasonable window for fresh food. This is the key difference. There are no artificial preservatives. There's no BHA or ethoxyquin like you find in commercial bags to make them shelf-stable for 2 years.
It spoils because it's real food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bacteria will eventually grow because it's a hospitable environment for them. But 5 days in a cold fridge, in an airtight container, is perfectly safe. It means you can cook on a Sunday afternoon, portion it out into 5 containers, and you are set for the entire work week.
It takes all the stress out of the weeknights. You just come home, grab a container, maybe mash it up a bit with a fork to redistribute everything, and serve.
And honestly, looking at the source text again, there's a deeper why here. Why are we even going through all this trouble? Why are we buying organic quinoa and shredding chicken?
The text mentions, and I'll quote it, with growing concerns about pet food safety, many pet owners have turned to homemade options.
Growing concerns is putting it very, very politely. I mean, we live in an era of constant recalls. We see news stories every few months about aflatoxin contamination in corn, or vitamin mixes being measured incorrectly in giant factories, or even euthanasia drugs being found in rendered meat products.
It's terrifying when you think about it. You're handing over the most fundamental aspect of your dog's health, their nutrition, to a massive faceless conglomerate. You're just trusting a process you cannot see.
But here, in this kitchen with this stew,
You see everything. You know the chicken is real chicken because you held it in your hands. You know the green beans are fresh because you chopped them yourself. You are the quality control manager.
and for a senior dog who might be more fragile and have less of a margin for error, that peace of mind is priceless.
It is. The text says these recipes are tailored to the healthiest and most balanced dog diets. It's about optimizing their twilight years, making them as comfortable and vibrant as possible.
And I think there's a huge emotional component, too, that we shouldn't overlook. We talked about the smell, the warmth of the food. Cooking for someone, human or canine, is an act of service.
It is an act of love.
It absolutely is. When you put that bowl down and you see your old dog wagging their tail, maybe with a little more energy than usual because they smell that fresh chicken and sweet potato, that is a reward in itself that you will never get from scooping brown pellets out of a bag.
It really is. Now, we focused very heavily on the food today because we're in the kitchen, but as we mentioned at the start, Dogzilla magazine is a big universe. If our listeners are enjoying this hands-on approach to dog care, where else should they be looking?
Well, the ecosystem is vast, and it's all designed to work together. So if you're standing in the kitchen cooking and this stew is simmering for 15 minutes, you might need something to listen to. The Bark Brigade podcast is right there.
And what kind of stories are they telling over on that show?
It's a real mix. It's very community-focused. You get these wonderful tail-wagging tales, you get powerful rescue stories, and you get practical training tips from certified professionals. It's the perfect companion.
And speaking of training, the source also mentioned a virtual classroom. That sounds interesting.
Yes, the virtual classroom for dog training. And the best part is it's free to use. So while your stew is cooling, you could be reading up on how to teach an old dog new tricks, or maybe how to manage a new puppy if you happen to have a multi-dog household. The resources are there.
And finally, for those moments when you just need to decompress, maybe after the kitchen is all cleaned up, there is the Watch the Dog video magazine.
Pure dopamine. It's just humor videos, relaxation videos. It's just celebrating the visual joy and silliness of dogs being dogs. Sometimes you just need to smile.
It feels like a great place to get lost for a few hours, but today I have to say I think we have found something really special right here at the stove.
I completely agree. We've taken what looks like a simple 5-ingredient recipe, and we've really unpacked the deep nutritional wisdom that's hiding inside of it.
Talk to show all about the ingredients in this recipe and why and how they are important to dogs' health. I mean, we've really seen how every single item in that pot has a specific job to do, don't you think?
Absolutely. The quinoa isn't just a filler, it's this gentle, complete protein scaffold. The chicken provides that lean muscle support to keep them strong and moving.
Mm-hmm.
The sweet potatoes bring the essential fiber for gut health and the vitamins for their aging vision. The green beans are that secret weapon for weight management and satiety. And that single precious tablespoon of olive oil ties it all together, delivering the essential fats they need for their brain and their skin.
It is a symphony of health for an aging dog, all in one bowl.
It is. And the best part is it's completely accessible. You don't need a degree in canine nutrition. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need a pot, a knife, and, some love.
Talk as a chef's on a cooking show, reading from a cookbook to guide and explain to the listeners carefully, step by step, every instruction, how it's done, and how to prepare the recipe. We really tried to walk you through that visualization today. The chopping, the shredding, the simmering, the all-important cooling.
If you follow those steps, and I'm going to say it one more time, especially the cooling, you're going to be the most popular chef in your house tonight. Guaranteed.
I have no doubt. Well, Chef, the stew is cooled, the containers are packed for the week, and the kitchen is, well, it's mostly clean.
We can worry about the last of the dishes later.
Yeah.
The dog is happy. That's the main thing.
Cool. It was a pleasure cooking with you.
You too.
Well, dear Brigadiers, we hope you liked and you learned how to prepare this recipe from the Bark Brigade Kitchen Podcast with the Dog Chef Cookbook from Dogazilla magazine.
Visit Dogazilla.com for more dog-related questions. And if you like to try more recipes like this, visit the Dog Chef Cookbook with lots of dog food and treats recipes for optimal dog health and well-being.
Talk to you next time, and meanwhile, have ooh woof, a woofy woof day, and stay strong.
Bye.